how to sell your company. I know this is going to be an exciting topic because a lot of people, they think about what's their exit strategy. I mean, and maybe it's only 15 years down the road, but at some point, if you have aspirations to sell your company, especially if you're a venture-backed company like I've done, I've been fortunate to sell the last 3 companies that I founded in a relatively short period of time. The average is about 3 years. But what I want to share with you guys is a strategy that I've extracted. The first time it was completely opportunistic. The second time I kind of got lucky, but we did some really smart things. And then the last time it was very much engineered at the beginning, not because I was trying to build a company to sell. I actually don't suggest you do that. But it was thinking through what really worked in the first and second company, creating a system that I'm going to share with you guys so that you can start down that path. So the first thing I want to share with you guys is white space. If you're going to sell your company, you've got to understand the market and the industry that you're in, and then kind of figure out 3 different sections of kind of categories of companies that would buy you. Some companies will buy you for your technologies, other people will buy you because of your customer base and kind of the traction you have, and other people might need your expertise and they're trying to get into this industry and get going, so that's what they want to acquire. So usually those are the 3 buckets, but then in each one of them, they have white space where in these big companies, typically publicly traded companies, they have a vision for where they want to go, a product roadmap, a strategy document, and what you guys do fills a white space in their strategy, and that's what you want to find out. Now, it's not like these things are published online, but you can identify some players. I like to kind of figure out like 5 to 7 for each category, so that'll work out to about 21 total companies, and then try to get to know the people within those companies to figure out if those strategies work. When should you start doing this? Right at the beginning. When you start your company, you should make this list. Because the second tip I want to share with you guys is the 21 people. The 21 people of those 7 companies, really there's 3 people, stand with me here. There's 3 people you got to think about when you're selling your company. There's the CEO, the corp dev guy, and the product manager. The CEO is obviously responsible for setting the budget and strategy. Are they going to buy you? The corp dev guy, the corporate development person, sometimes same as CEO, is responsible for actually acquiring your business. So there's a person's full-time job is to acquire a company. The product manager, the third person, they're the most important person. They're your internal champion. They're the ones that are going to decide, should we buy or build this thing? And are you the right company that they should acquire if they're evaluating other ones? So if you think about it, if you do that strategy map and you get 21 companies, and then you really distill it down to 7 really high potentials, then for each one of those, there's 3, and I call that the 21 people principle. There's 21 people in the world that are responsible for potentially a huge outcome for your business. And if you could build that list and strategically over the next 3 years, go to the events where they might be at and reach out to them, talk to them, and build those relationships. I think from an outcome point of view, there's probably nothing that could be higher leverage than doing that activity. So I wanted to share that with you guys. The third thing that I think is really important to understand is, how do you get in contact with these people? Why would they respond to your emails? Or aren't they competition? For a lot of these, they might be competitive in the sense that if they're going there and you guys are building something in that space, it's competitive. But what I like to say is, big companies, Google's, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., they are huge tankers. It's really tough for them. You guys might go into your office and on a Monday change strategy 180 degrees. Trust me, big companies, we're talking at least a 12-month cycle, if not 16, maybe 2-year strategy maps. They're not going to just quickly do that. So what I suggest you do is teach them to connect. Teaching to connect. That is the way that you can approach them. And you might say, hey, I noticed you guys are maybe going in this direction. Here's our company. Here's what we do. And I would love to come in and teach you guys how we think about this process. Because what you're doing, if you're going in to teach them, is you're explaining to them or demonstrating that you're a thought leader, that you have deep domain expertise in this area, and that if they were going to acquire a company down the road, you'd be the right person, because not only do you understand it, but you taught them. And I think that's a really strong position to be in, because you want to get those relationships going now so that in the future, if at some point you have one of them or some other company you didn't even know about approach you to potentially acquire a company, that you could quickly go back to those other 21 people that you already have relationships with and start the process. That will give you a 3x increase in potential outcome because you're not starting cold at that moment. You actually have warm introductions. These are people you know, and they already know, like, and trust you because you've taught them things.